me see the ones in the chat, man. Throw those fingers in the air. We got our War Games all ready to go, man. It's all set. OG Bloodline versus Solo and his Bloodline. Sami Zayn officially on board. I already hear the whispers of it's all happening so fast. Sure. We'll talk about it. But did Solo hint at a 5-on-5 War Games match? Maybe I was just hearing things, man. I don't know, man. Could we see Dwayne show up? I don't know. WWE also unveiled a Women's United States Championship. I got some problems. We'll talk about it. And Tommaso Ciampa may be going black and gold, baby. Oh, my goodness, man. That makes me a very happy guy. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, we're not reviewing Rampage. Nobody watches Rampage, man. I hope it dies. We're drinking in the venue, and when I get there, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Friday Night SmackDown post show for November 8th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Friday evenings, wherever you may be. Ladies and gentlemen, we can officially announce tonight that War Games is all set. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso against Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and the menacing, the beast, Jacob Fatu. It is all set. I already hear the whispers. Oh, it's happening too soon. Oh, Sami Zayn joining them and all the dissension between the original bloodline is already squashed way too soon. We have 2 weeks to go before Survivor Series. I don't know what they plan to do. I don't know where this is going. We could obviously still see a lot of twists and turns happen in the next 2 weeks, which I'm expecting, because I fully expect Paul Heyman to be back inside the bloodline like he usually was when he was the wise man. I will get into that in just a second, but I have to, before I do anything else tonight, I have to. Oh, my goodness. We got a $100 super chat right out of the gate. He walks on into the bar and he orders the finest whiskey that we got on the shelf. Osakui with a $100 super chat. This guy fucking owns the joint, man. He's on the paperwork. He owns the venue. Personally, I wish the wise man had a part in bringing the OG bloodline back together. I also wish Roman was forced to make more of an effort getting everyone on the same page, but damn, you can't deny that moment at the end of SmackDown. It was great to see. Thank you, brother. As always, it is always my pleasure to have you inside the OTS venue with us, man. As always, thank you so very much. Your generosity is unbelievable, man. Thank you so very much. And yes, coming from a writer himself to say that, I absolutely 100% agree with what Osakui said there. And that's where I want to start off. I know the murmurs online are going to probably head in the direction of it was too soon, it was rushed, it was this, it was that. You know, WWE, when Roman Reigns came out there and Solo Sikoa told Roman to acknowledge him as the undisputed tribal chief, I held my head in my hand and I said, please don't send this very good SmackDown episode off the air with another bloodline beatdown of Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn is nowhere to be found. Same old SmackDown ending with the bloodline standing tall, the finger in the air, and we go off the air with Solo Sikoa just admiring his work. We started the night off with Sami and Roman, and they were there to talk because Jey wanted Sami on Friday night. He's coming over from Monday Night Raw. Sami gave his explanation. We'll go over what he said in just a little bit. He gave his explanation. I felt it. He said, you felt it. If you want me to stay, I'll be happy to stay. If you want me to go, I will leave this ring and I will not look back. But there's one thing you got to do for me. I want you to apologize. Not to Sami. Sami didn't want an apology for himself. He wanted an apology for Jey Uso. And Roman Reigns did not apologize. I am sorry that you wasted my time on this fool. He's not family. He's not blood. He's not in the bloodline. He's not honorary. Sami Zayn didn't say anything. He just walked out. He just walked out. Jey Uso was upset. Jimmy Uso was upset. And Roman was becoming the old Roman Reigns right before our very eyes. Roman showed us tonight that after all this time, after Jey and Jimmy made up, and after Jey gave Roman his demands, And after Jimmy came back and helped Roman and wants to see family together, bonded, Roman did not change. Roman was Roman. He was the same Roman. The Roman that basically led this bloodline, manipulated this bloodline, and took this bloodline to take over WWE in his own way, in his own image. Roman didn't change. In that moment, we saw glimpses of the old Roman. All he wanted was Solo Sikoa. After what Solo did to him at Crown Jewel, he gave him a Samoan spike, and he wants his Ulafala back. That's all he wants. He wants the title of Tribal Chief back. That's all he wants. From that point on, I'm like, all right, they're going to slow play this for the next couple of weeks. And I'm great with waiting. Fine. I didn't expect Sami to just be like, hey, man, I'm sorry. Roman's like, don't worry about it, bro. I know it was an accident. I know you didn't mean to do it. Let's go to War Games and let's go to Survivor Series and kick their ass. No, I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. But WWE had it in the palm of their hands to slow play this over the next couple of weeks to give us a feeling of intrigue and give us a feeling of maybe there is something else going on here that is going to deviate away from the original plan. Give us some unpredictability. In the grand scheme of this being very predictable, because we all knew where it was going to go, give us a sense of unpredictability. WWE did not do that. And just like Osik, we said with his generosity here tonight, personally, I wish the wise man had a part in bringing the OG Bloodline back together. I would have went off the air not with what they did. Not Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns holding the ones in the air, standing side by side with Jimmy and Jey Uso at the end of the show tonight. I would not have ended the show that way. I would have not. I would have not had Roman and Solo close the show already stating War Games. I would have had Solo just sit by. What the fuck does Solo need to do? What does Solo need to do and what does Solo need to say to Roman Reigns? He beat Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel. There's nothing for him to prove. Nothing. Did he win fair and square? No, he did not. He won because of bullshit. Roman should have really sat with his boys and come up with a plan on how to get the Ulafala back. Roman Reigns should have come up in the locker room, in the Bloodline locker room, with a way to get the Ulafala back and end this once and for all. They could have come up with War Games. They could have made a struggle out of this with Sami and Roman, them needing Sami, them needing that fourth man. They did not do that. They could have made a struggle where Sami really felt hurt. Jey fucking hurt him. Sami thought he was coming out there to do a good thing. Roman didn't acknowledge it. Roman didn't appreciate it. Roman doesn't care about it. You could build intrigue over the next couple of weeks for Sami to really be on the outskirts. Roman really needing to feel humbled and kind of lower his guard a little bit to give us a glimpse of who Roman really needs to be instead of this very same typical Roman Reigns that we have used to see or have gotten used to see in 4 years now. I don't know why they didn't slow burn that. They just went right for the kill. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be problems. I'm not saying that there won't be a scuffle between them or an argument between them. But the moment now is gone. And I really do think that they rushed the moment tonight. The moment was Sami, Roman, Jey, Jimmy, and Paul Heyman. That was the moment. Now, I don't know where Paul Heyman lies in this. I would have absolutely had Paul Heyman be the one to show face and bring everybody back together after weeks of arguing, weeks of being not on the same page. I would have had Paul Heyman come back and be the voice of reason, the wise voice of reason, for him to really be humbled. Roman Reigns needed his wise man to bring all of this together instead of it just happening the way that it happened tonight. Do I have a problem with the way everything went down? Not to the extent of I'm going to bitch and moan that it's the worst thing ever. No. I think the way that they went about it was fine. But I'm just saying that they should have done a little bit more of a story to get us to where we need to go with some added twists and turns instead of just giving us Sami Zayn, giving us Roman Reigns on the same page, and having the show go off the air with the ones in the air. I felt like there needed to be more. And I felt like they got lazy. I felt like it was, all right, man, we got to announce War Games. We need to get these teams out. I got to get the 2 teams on the poster. Stat. You could have waited. I think the fan base is pretty much in the know. I think the fan base kind of knows where this is going, so you didn't really need to do that. Survivor Series is already sold out. You could put a piece of shit on the fucking poster, and people were already going to be in the building. So I don't know why they needed to just, got to get that Survivor Series poster up, got to get those War Games teams all set. I just felt like the booking was haphazardly rushed. I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because I'm really not. I'm just trying to think of a better way to go about it instead of feeling the way that I do. I just feel like they went from step 1 to step 2. We got Jimmy back, right? That was step 1. He saved Roman. Jey, he's back. They went through steps. Solo cost him the Intercontinental Championship. Jey cost the Bloodline the Tag Team Championship. Jey and Jimmy are on the same page. Jey, Jimmy, and Roman are all on the same page. Yeah, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 steps. I felt like they went through step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and they skipped step 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's like I don't really get why they just needed to get it. I don't know, man. Again, that's just from my point of view. That's just the way that I see it. We got 2 weeks left to go. We don't know what type of problems Roman, Sami, Jey, and Jimmy will have. We don't know what type of segments the Bloodline will have with Solo's Bloodline. We don't know if we're going to see The Rock. We don't know if there's going to be an injury angle or something else to throw a wrench into the unpredictability. We don't know if we're going to see Paul Heyman. We don't know. We also don't know if it's going to be 5-on-5 or 4-on-4. Now, WrestleVotes, if you guys listen to WrestleVotes or keep a tab on WrestleVotes, one of the best places to get your news in the entire community. They actually broke. A lot of people had a problem with it. I didn't really give a shit, personally. A lot of people had a problem with them breaking the United States Women's Championship being unveiled tonight. Don't go on social media. Stop bitching. They reported that it's pretty set in stone that it will be 4-on-4. 4-on-4, it will be War Games, Bloodline versus Bloodline, 4-on-4. Solo did make a mention that it could be 5. Roman said, well, I only see 4 of you out here. So I don't know if they are teasing a 5th man. I don't know if they're teasing an extra guy on both sides. I don't. But that was kind of weird the way that they went about it. You would think that, just by the optics of it, we got 4 on one side, we got 4 on the other. That's enough for a War Games. But who knows? Maybe WWE wants to go 5-on-5. If that is the case, who will be the 5th man on each side? Now, only one name stands out that makes any sense whatsoever, and that name is Dwayne Johnson. Now, I don't see Dwayne Johnson, I don't see The Rock competing inside a War Games match at this stage of his career, so close to WrestleMania, risking basically everything and flushing WrestleMania down the fucking toilet. I don't see that happening. God forbid something happens in there and he gets hurt. We don't need that happening. That would fucking ruin everything. Because I know he's going to be in the main event of one of the nights of WrestleMania. Who would be the 5th man for Roman? Nobody really jumps off the page. Nobody really jumps off the page at all. Unless WWE, once again, is going to team Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns up One more time. Now, he has nothing to do with the bloodline right now. He's got his own problems with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. But maybe Cody Rhodes is the fifth man. It's basically his father's match. Cody Rhodes would be in there teaming with Roman against The Rock. The Rock showed up at the end of Bad Blood and basically gave the throat slash to Jimmy Uso, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. Do we see something along the lines there? I see the chat already asking Zillafat2. What about Lance Hawaii? What about Hikuleo? Nobody knows who these fucking people are. You're throwing random names in a War Games match, and you're expecting the WWE audience to know. No. They've had no proper introduction on the main roster. Nobody knows who they are, and they're not even a part of the actual story. They're part of the family. They're not a part of the actual story. I'm just trying to think out loud logically who could be a fifth man. I don't think they will go that way because I think it's perfect the way it is. I don't think you need to add more on top of what we already have, but it was mentioned tonight. So I have to bring it up in discussion. Is there going to be a fifth man? I hope not. It's fine the way it is. But if there is, there's nobody else that makes sense but Rock and Cody. Now, speaking of Cody, Cody left the building with Randy Orton. Randy Orton stormed out in Buffalo to the ring, and he called out Kevin Owens. Or we could get Seth Rollins. I'm going to read this one right now. $7.99. Dan, the Cards fan, 47, with a $9.99 super chat. He says, Seth freaking Rollins. I could absolutely see it. I could absolutely see that. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but that's a good plan B if Cody can't do it. Which I'll cycle back to that in a second. Thank you, Dan. That's a very wise man of you to come up with that. Cody left the building with Randy Orton because Randy Orton stormed out to the ring and he called out Kevin Owens, who did come out, and they brawled. The brawl didn't last long. They threw some punches. Kevin Owens kicked below the belt, and then he delivered a pile driver. Yes, WWE allowed Kevin Owens to do a pile driver on television. A pile driver that left Randy Orton with a neck contusion. A neck brace was put on Randy Orton, and he was ushered out of the building on a gurney, loaded into the back of an ambulance, and rushed to the hospital. Cody Rhodes left the building, and he left in the ambulance with Randy Orton. I will touch upon why I think the segment was very effective and why less is more, Tony. Wink, wink. But are we setting up Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series? I don't know. It certainly looks that Randy Orton was written off television for now to sell the effects of this injury for now. Are we getting Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series? I don't know. If Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens is the direction for the WWE title at Survivor Series, and there is a fifth man for War Games, it could absolutely be Seth Rollins. Now, again, I don't really think it should be a fifth man on each side. I think 4-on-4 is fine. But then you begin to ask yourself, well, what is Seth Rollins going to do at Survivor Series if he's not in anything else? Could we see Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed at Survivor Series? Would WWE go and do that at Survivor Series in a ambulance match or some sort of stipulation match? I don't know. It is very unpredictable to pick out what WWE is going to do. This is why I think right now what we got going on Friday night seems to be the most interesting thing happening in WWE. You don't know which direction they're going to go. Cody versus KO seems to be the idea. War Games is seemingly set. We have the potential for a 5-on-5. If so, who is it going to be? Because it was mentioned tonight. It was mentioned. But a lot of interesting developments happening on SmackDown. Randy Orton was taken out by Kevin Owens. Bloodline versus Bloodline is set. Sami is now, once again, Uce with the Bloodline. And WWE has unveiled a Women's United States Championship. How is this going to work? I don't know what you guys heard, but I heard that Michael Cole said it will be both Raw and SmackDown women competing over the United States Championship. Does that mean it's going to float like the tag team titles? Does that mean it's going to be a United States Championship that is featured on Raw and SmackDown? I don't know if I heard that. You guys let me know what you heard. But I will certainly talk about that on the stream tonight. This is something that I do think is needed. But I don't think that the WWE Women's Division needs to add another championship on top of what is already there. This only works if you do addition by subtraction. It's the only way it works. But I heard it will be a floating title on Raw and on SmackDown, which then begs the question, I don't know why we need two sets of men's tag team championships, because that is the weakest division on the men's side that WWE has right now. It may be the weakest division in the entire company. I don't know why they haven't done that with the same set of rules for the women, for the men. I don't really understand it. So we're going to talk about all that. We had a very newsworthy SmackDown tonight. I thank you guys so much for joining me here on Off the Script. We got a lot to talk about. And before we get into that, let's check the chat. We got 2,000 plus in here right now. Thank you guys very, very much. We got 400 likes as we see it. I'm going to need that number to get up there, man. Let's try for a goal tonight. We're already halfway there to the goal. Let's try for 800 likes tonight on the stream. So if you guys are in the chat, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the content this week. We were live on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Uploaded a video on Tuesday because there was no Tuesday Night Titans because of the election. Wednesday, we covered NXT at the ECW Arena. Thursday, we were live for AEW Dynamite. We talked for almost 3 hours about Dynamite. There was a rant in there. We talked about Malachi and how we all feel Malachi is just done with AEW. Not contractually, but he's done. You see it, you feel it, you know it. So go and check that out. And everything that you see on the YouTube channel, today I uploaded it all to iTunes, man. There was a problem going on there with my provider. So Monday Night Raw, NXT, and AEW Dynamite, all the audio form of all three shows are now live on Spotify and iTunes. So make sure you guys go and check that out and support accordingly. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And please check out my sponsor for tonight's show. Tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. All you guys need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. We got some great sponsors coming up in the month of November. We'll be talking about DraftKings. They're on board for the month. We got Game Time coming up, and we got a new one this month, guys. I'm excited about this one. We are sponsored this month by Turtle Beach. Unbelievable, man. Turtle Beach, now a part of the Off the Script family, man. Thank you guys very much. Without you, none of this shit happens. SmackDown. We start the night with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is out there. He makes his entrance. He's accompanied by Jey Uso. Michael Cole noted that in the last 5 years, Reigns has been pinned only twice until Saturday when Solo Sikoa beat him. Cole said Roman Reigns' original bloodline seems very jaded, as Jimmy seems solid with Reigns, Jey seems distant and guarded, and Sami Zayn, who knows? So Roman Reigns' music faded. He lifted the mic to speak. Jey Uso makes his entrance, but it wasn't the over-the-top entrance we usually see from Jey Uso. He did not come into the arena from the crowd. He actually came down the aisle and walked, meaning business. He did not yeet. He did not do any shenanigans. He did not seem happy. So I love the fact, aesthetically, the vibe of Jey Uso. He showed up there and he meant business. It was not time to yeet tonight. So there was no yeeting by Jey Uso. So Jey looked at Reigns. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding going on here, Uce. He asked Reigns to hear him out, please. Him is Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's music played. He comes out. He makes his entrance. He said on Raw, Sami explained that he came out at Crown Jewel to help Jey Uso. So we get the chant of Sami Uso. Sami said the kick to Roman's face wasn't on purpose at Crown Jewel. Clearly. We all knew it wasn't purpose. It was an accident. He said the only reason he showed up at Crown Jewel was for Jey Uso. He said he'd love to say the only reason he's there tonight is because Jey asked him, but that's not true. He says it's been a long time since he's been in the ring with Roman Reigns. He says he's thought about all the things he'd say and do if he did step in the foot again with Roman Reigns. He said it took him back to special times in his career and in his life with family. He said there's a part of him that still has a soft spot for the time the four of them were in the bloodline. He says he knows Jey, Jimmy, and even Reigns on some level all felt it on Saturday afternoon at Crown Jewel. He says he knows it because Reigns showed up tonight. If he didn't, he wouldn't have showed up, and I wouldn't be standing here. He says they're all there because on some level they want it back. Reigns continued to listen to Sami. He did not leave the ring. He did not turn away. He did not seem indifferent. He listened to Sami. He says he doesn't think Reigns is indifferent to him. I think you love me. Fans started laughing. You see Roman Reigns trying to hold back a smirk. You see Jey Uso smiling. You see Jey Uso trying to make weird facial expressions in the back, trying to prevent himself from laughing as well. Looked like Sami was trying to break the bloodline like he usually did. It almost worked. It almost worked. Maybe it'll work before we get to War Games and Survivor Series. Sami says he could see it in his face because Roman smirked. It's still there. You remember the old days, said Sami Zayn. He reminisced about their good times. We could run it all back. He told Roman he can tell him to walk away now and never be involved in bloodline business again. But I don't think that's what you want. He says he thinks Roman wants them all back together fighting side by side. He says if that's what he wants, he'd do it. He says he just needed him to do one thing. Apologize. Sami says, I need you to apologize. Roman closed his eyes. He looked agitated. You know this man does not want to apologize for anything because he's the tribal chief. Fans are chanting, hug it out, hug it out. Roman then said, let me get this straight. You want me to apologize to you? Sami said, the apology is not for me. I want you to apologize. And he points over to Jey Uso. I want you to apologize to Jey Uso. Roman thought about it. He took a couple of steps towards Jey Uso. Roman lifted the microphone and said, I'm sorry. Fans cheered. Sami was happy. I'm sorry that I ever let you waste my time with this. And he points over to Sami Zayn. He's not in our family. He's not blood. He's not honorary. He's not an Uso. Stop wasting my time. It's not about him. It's about Solo. And then he screams, Solo, bring your ass to the ring and let's handle business. They showed Sami telling Jey he was leaving. Sami walked away and did not say anything else as he walked up the aisle. All of a sudden, we see Jacob Fatu appear on the big screen, and he cuts a promo in front of the live audience. He said Solo is their tribal chief. He said Solo moves on his own time, and he'll come to the ring when he pleases. At the end of the day, you will acknowledge that. Jimmy and Jey looked at Reigns for his reaction while Jacob Fatu was cutting this promo. Reigns stared ahead, he shook his head, and he began to leave the ring. Sami was shown leaving the entrance area after he was denied by Roman Reigns. All of this was great. This is exactly what it needed to be. Exactly what it needed to be. They got it right. In the opening 15 to 20 minutes, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do coming out of Crown Jewel, and that is sell you on the fact that Sami Zayn is not going to be accepted because Roman Reigns truly believes he's not family. And Roman Reigns also knows what Sami and Kevin Owens did to try and take the titles from the Usos at WrestleMania 39. And Roman Reigns certainly knows what Sami Zayn did to him while he was in the Bloodline at the Royal Rumble that year, where they still chair being blasted across his back in defense of his best friend. So yes, Roman Reigns, even though everybody knew the kick, the haluva kick at Crown Jewel was accidental, Roman Reigns had more than enough evidence, more than enough of a reason to say Sami Zayn is not a part of this family. It's not about him. I don't know why I'm wasting my time with this clown. They got it right. And then by the end of the show, it's like, man, at least build me up a little bit. Build this tension up a little bit, man. I mean, we had to wait longer for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn getting back together. They slow burned that going into WrestleMania 39 fucking 3 times more than what they did with Sami Zayn coming together with Roman. They got it right. This opening was fantastic. Everything about this was great. And to see a little glimpse of Jacob Fatu cutting a promo on the big screen, you guys get a glimpse. You guys get a little sight and sound on what Jacob Fatu can now do on the microphone. I thought he sounded exactly how he was supposed to sound. Not really surprised how he came off either. I thought everything about this was fantastic. But I just wish, with WWE hitting a home run in the opening segment after all that happened at Crown Jewel, that we got a little bit more of that tension from Roman to Sami and the indifference towards Sami Zayn. Soon as this segment ended, Jimmy was following behind Roman Reigns backstage. Jey comes in and he stops Roman Reigns. He asks for 2 seconds of his time. Reigns said no and began to walk away. Jey quickly grabbed his arm as he was walking away to stop Roman Reigns from leaving. He said he asked him to do just one thing and hear Sami Zayn out. Roman Reigns said to Jimmy, why do you care? Or to Jey, rather, why do you care? He ain't nothing to us. Jey says he loves Sami. Reigns told Jey, get out of my face and go find Sami if you love him so much. Jey told Reigns, I told you if you talk to me that way that I was out. So Roman Reigns already went back on the promise that he made to Jey Uso literally a week ago. So I want you guys to follow along here. We got Crown Jewel ending the way that it did. Sami Zayn accidentally haluva kicking Roman Reigns. Jey asked Sami on Monday, Uce, come to Friday, come to SmackDown, speak to the OTC. He did. Sami gave a more than adequate reason for them to believe him and welcome him back. Roman didn't want anything to do with it. Roman is walking away angry because he doesn't have what he wants. Roman is embodying exactly what got him into this position in the first place. Selfish. Jimmy can't speak to him. Jey tried to speak to him. He then disrespected Jey. After Jey last week said, you get out of line, I am out. We are equals. Roman did not treat Jey like an equal tonight. Nowhere close. He disrespected his cousins. He disrespected Sami. And he had tunnel vision on the Ulafala and Solo Sikoa. So we got the opening segment and we got this segment. Perfect. Building that tension. This is why I said on social media, I know it's not going to be easy. We know what the end goal is. But it certainly looked like the question of where Paul Heyman is. That's why I said on social media, it sounds like, it looks like, it feels like a wise man is going to be the one to bring everybody back together. Now, by the time we got to the end of the show, that could still very well happen. But the moment to do that was after this type of tension between all four guys, and that continues on for at least another week. They didn't do that. WWE nailed a home run in the opening segment. WWE followed it up with this segment, which was very good. So we're sitting right now with Roman basically disregarding his family because of the Ulafala and Solo Sikoa. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else, and he doesn't give a shit who is with him or against him. That's what they needed to continue building on for this show. And unfortunately, they did not do that. Moving on. Bayley. She went one-on-one with Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae has gotten a nice, consistent 4 weeks of television here on SmackDown. Who would have thought? I didn't have that on my bingo card this year. It's nice to see Candice LeRae getting a shot. Obviously, they now don't have her paired with Indy Hartwell as they released Indy Hartwell last week. And they got her floating around with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, which is not the worst thing that she could be doing. Bayley, she seems like a lost cause. She's not going to get that WWE Women's Championship back anytime soon, as Nia Jax has a stranglehold on that. We'll talk about Bayley and this new championship a little bit later. But I thought what these two ladies did here was very good. Bayley is very good, and Candice is very good. So I expected a good match, and that's exactly what we got. LeRae had control early. Bayley shoulder tackled LeRae down to the mat. Bayley followed up with a clothesline and a 2 count. She then threw LeRae to the apron, but Candice fought back, hits a neck breaker on Bayley, and we go into a commercial break. Show came back. Candice was working over Bayley with a chinlock, LeRae is on the apron and pulled Bayley down by her hair. She then went up top. Bayley cuts her off from whatever she was going to do off the top rope, but LeRae bounced Bayley off of the ring post. She then goes back up top again. This time she nails whatever she was going for. She hits a missile dropkick. Bayley no-sold it, came back with a clothesline on Candice. Bayley then rammed LeRae into the corner and hits a neck breaker. Bayley then lifted LeRae in a tilt-a-whirl sidewalk slam. She then goes up top. LeRae rolled to the outside. Bayley chased Candice. When they get back into the ring, LeRae sold a fake knee injury. She was trying to play possum. Referee pulled Bayley aside. LeRae tried to take advantage of this by faking the injury, and she tried for a roll-up, but Bayley was ready for it and pinned Candice for a flash 1, 2, 3. I thought the ending was pretty slick. Bayley already knew that Candice was going to use nefarious means to win this match, and she had that one pretty much well scouted. So Candice gets a nice solid match with Bayley, and Bayley is victorious here tonight over Candice LeRae. So I don't know what they are doing with Bayley. I know right now Naomi is the number one contender for the Women's Championship. That match was announced with Nia Jax in the Women's Championship next Friday on Friday Night SmackDown. What Bayley does, that remains to be seen. I don't know. She could certainly be one of the top contenders for the new United States Women's Championship, as will Candice. I think Candice is going to be certainly in the running for that. And you could probably see why. I don't know how long this announcement was going to be made. I don't know how long this was in the works for. But you could probably see why Candice LeRae has gotten a little bit more shine on television, why Mia Yim has gotten some shine on television. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven have gotten a little bit more shine on television. I wonder how long WWE had this in the works for. Because a lot of these women that have not been seen consistently, regularly on television, have gotten a little bit more shine than we are used to on Friday night. They've gotten a little bit more TV time over the last several weeks. So I'm assuming that all had to do with the United States Championship being announced for the women's division. But Bayley wins, and I'm sure both of these ladies will be in contention for that new championship. Motor City Machine Guns. They were hanging out backstage. There was supposed to be a Grayson Waller effect with the Motor City Machine Guns being on the Grayson Waller effect. They canceled that and put them in a tag team match instead. Good. I can't stand wrestling talk shows, especially the current ones. Miz TV is lame. Grayson Waller effect is lame. I don't care for wrestling talk shows. I think they are all super lame, and it was a crutch that Vince McMahon used because it was a lazy way out to give us anything meaningful on television. As long as he featured someone or a few people on the show, that's exactly what he did. He did not want to use them in any other way but a talk show, and it was lazy, creative, and lazy booking. I hate it. So I'm glad that they got rid of it. Johnny Gargano. Speaking of the Motor City Machine Guns, he came up to the Motor City Machine Guns in the back, and he thanked them for all they've done for tag team wrestling. It's long overdue that they are in the WWE. Saban says they can't wait to wrestle DIY again. Gargano said Grayson Waller has a punchable face, so please go and punch him in the face. It's very enjoyable. Johnny Gargano walked up to him, or Tommaso Ciampa, rather, walked up to Johnny Gargano as the Motor City Machine Guns were walking away, and he tells Johnny, "What the hell was that?" in a very angry tone. Gargano says, "Well, I've known them since I was 19. You know that. I've told you that several times before in the past. They're like brothers to me." Gargano said those guys just got there and he wanted to welcome them. And then Tommaso Ciampa says, yeah, they just got here and they took our spot and they took our titles. The titles that should be ours. He was very angry, was Tommaso Ciampa. He said, tonight they're going to go find the guns and let them know that they are taking their titles back. This is the most interesting that Tommaso Ciampa has been on the main roster. That's a sad thing to say because he's been on the main roster for quite some time now. And you guys know how big of a fan I am of Tommaso Ciampa and the body of work that he's done in Black and Gold. He and Johnny were the very reasons why Black and Gold was probably the best promotion in all of the world, to be quite honest with you, with the work that they did. Tommaso Ciampa, and I've said this many times before, the heel work that he did as NXT champion, the no theme music, absolutely fucking vile, hateful heel that Tommaso Ciampa was, yelling at NXT Granny every fucking Wednesday at Full Sail University. That was some of the best heel work of the modern era. This was the best that we've seen Tommaso Ciampa on the main roster. And I don't want to get my hopes up because I can't seem to figure out or predict where this is going because they have been given the hot cold treatment more times than I really want to admit on the main roster. Some weeks they're booked well, some weeks they're booked bad. Some weeks they're booked like losers, some weeks they're booked like winners. I can't really get a sense for where they are going creatively with DIY. But as far as I know, the tag team division needs help. Breaking up a team like DIY is not going to help the tag team division. But it will certainly help Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Now, I don't know what WWE has planned. If they're breaking up DIY, they better have a plan for the tag team division because taking a team away from that division, an already weak division, not really the brightest of moves. But if you're talking about Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa individually, this is exactly what they need. Is Johnny, my only question is Johnny a babyface that fans care about to a point where when the eventual split and heel turn happens from Ciampa to Johnny, is it going to be something that the fans are going to really get behind and feel bad about? Are they going to show Johnny sympathy? Are they going to vilify Tommaso Ciampa the way that he needs? I don't really understand the process here because I'm afraid of what's to come. I don't want to see the fans give them reactions the way they are giving them reactions now. If you're going to set these guys up for a breakup and you're going to set Tommaso Ciampa on a pace and on a course for being a fucking heel the way we know he can be, it needs to be impactful. It needs to matter. That's where I think this is going. I just don't know when or where it's going to happen. But Tommaso Ciampa, as the Sicilian psychopath on Friday nights, vying for the United States Championship, I could absolutely see that being the case. Or are they trying to recreate, which you may get some pushback on if you're an avid watcher of this show. If you know exactly what they did in NXT, are you going to be excited to see Triple H tell that story again on the main roster in a different way? I mean, I'd like to see them try, but I don't know what else we could do that hasn't been done already. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano are natural enemies. They are best friends in real life, but they are each other's greatest rival, which is a great thing. Do we turn Johnny Gargano into a blue-collar Daniel Bryan-like babyface, which we know he could be? He beat Adam Cole and had one of the greatest NXT title victories ever at TakeOver New York. Are they going to do that? Is Tommaso Ciampa going to be one of the best heels that we know he could be? Are they going to be each other's WrestleMania opponent? WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. I mean, one could dream. I don't know. But this is the most interesting Tommaso Ciampa has been on the main roster, man. It's very interesting to see him act all angry now at Johnny and kind of show those same qualities in NXT that he had when Black and Gold was around, where he used to desire Goldie. That's what he used to call the NXT Championship, Goldie. His desire for Goldie basically turned him into a fucking menace. His desire for Tag Team Gold here is going to turn him into a menace. And he's not going to win Tag Team Gold because Johnny Gargano's holding him back. He's tired of being a failure. We'll see. We will see. Randy Orton. While all this was going down, he walked past Johnny Gargano, and the camera followed him to the entrance stage. And Michael Cole said they were not expecting him tonight after what they did, him and KO, at Crown Jewel. I did not expect him on the show either. So obviously he was in a mood. He storms out through Gorilla. He goes through the curtain. He goes to the ring. And Orton has a microphone. He said at Crown Jewel, it was just the beginning, and he wants to end this shit right now. Yes, he did say that word for word. He called Owens out to the ring. Get out to the ring so I can whip your ass in front of the entire world. So Owens is out, and he's wearing a shirt that says, Owens is right. Kevin Owens is right. If you really want to look at it, again, I've said this for weeks now, it is tough to argue Kevin Owens in this situation. Is he wrong? Whether you like him or not, it is very difficult to sit there and tell Kevin Owens that he's wrong. He's not. Who's the real bad guy here? So Owens is wearing his new t-shirt. Kevin Owens is right. He marched past agents and referees and got in the ring and went right after Randy Orton. Orton got the better of him. Agents pulled Orton off of Owens. Owens took a cheap shot below the belt. Randy Orton drops to his knees. Owens picks up Orton and delivers a pile driver. Now, I saw some people making fun of how soft or how weak the pile driver was. I don't know why WWE is going to take Kevin Owens and have him do a pile driver and have him absolutely spike Randy Orton on his fucking neck where he just had back surgery. We don't need another injury. I don't know why you guys expected anything more than what we got tonight. It was not meant to be a fucking pile driver that you would see in AEW. It was meant to be a situation and a sequence that left you in shock. And Michael Cole even sold it, saying there's a reason why that damn move is banned. The only thing that you need to know here, and of course you're going to get the fucking blithering idiots and the geeks online. Oh, it was weak. Oh, it was soft. It was the visual that they were going for. The visual. And yes, it was shocking because when was the last time we seen a pile driver on WWE television? An actual grade A old school pile driver. I'm not talking about a fucking Hurricane Rana or a Poison Rana spiking someone on their head or a Canadian Destroyer or a Tombstone. A straight up pile driver. Jerry Lawler old school pile driver. I can't remember. And if you do, you got no life. There's a reason why that damn move is banned. That was it. That was it. They sold you on the moment. They wanted you to visualize what you just saw. Add Michael Cole's line over that on commentary. That is what they want you to remember. And this one specifically goes out to Tony. How effective was this one spot? How effective was this one spot to the WWE fan base, to the people in the audience? How effective was this spot to the story, Tony? We see pile drivers every fucking week on AEW television. I mean, for Christ's sakes, we had Orange Cassidy feuding with Trent Beretta earlier in the year. You guys remember that? I remember vividly that Trent Beretta pile drove Orange Cassidy on top of steel steps. He gets up as if nothing happened and delivered an orange punch or whatever the fuck he did after the fact. We get pile drivers every fucking week on AEW television. We are so numb and desensitized to pile drivers. But the fact that it happened on WWE television, look at the way that they did it. Look at the visual that they created. Look at the commentary telling you there's a reason why that move is banned. Look at the story that they told. They told a story through a wrestling move that is not allowed on television and has been outlawed by the promotion. So when you see that move done on WWE television, that is new. That is fresh. That is shocking. That is story. Any questions? Less is more. One of the problems that AEW has right now, they do too much. They don't care that they do too much. Quality over quantity. Every week, someone's being dropped on an apron. Every week, someone's being dropped on their head. Every week, somebody's fucking bleeding. And they don't even hide it. They show people bleeding on fucking camera. Less is more. Less is more. And we get pop-up fucking pile drivers on AEW television and people are kicking out of the fucking one. No. This was excellent. Everybody sold this like death. Corey Graves in the microphone tried to shoot the best he could. We need medical out here. We need someone from the production truck to send medics to the ring. Paramedics rolled a gurney to the ring, put Orton in a neck brace, put him flat back on a gurney, loaded him onto a stretcher. Kevin Owens was out there. He didn't give a shit. Cody Rhodes, he was out there with Randy Orton, and he walked with the paramedics with Orton right to the back, and he got loaded into the ambulance, and Cody went along with him. This was really, really good. They tried to sell you on the effects of an outlawed move. Randy Orton did the best that he could. He was breathing, and he was like, he wasn't really convulsing, but he was taking these audible deep breaths where he could not move at all. His hand was like on his neck, and he was selling the effects of the pile driver. It's a really, really heavy way to write Randy Orton off of television, given his history of back issues where he was out for 18 months. And then you're going to sell us on the fact that he was just pile driven by Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens pulled out the one move that is outlawed in the entire company. I don't know how management, I don't know what Triple H, I don't know what Nick Aldis are going to do with Kevin Owens. I mentioned before, are they setting up Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship at Survivor Series? It could be that. It could be. I don't know why you're Triple H and giving this guy a WWE Championship match after he blatantly tried to take out Randy Orton. I don't know. Why are you going to reward him with a WWE title match? Does Cody even wrestle at Survivor Series? At this point, I don't know. So let's theoretically think out loud. Is Kevin Owens getting a WWE Championship match at Survivor Series? Should he be rewarded with a WWE Championship match at Survivor Series after what he just did to Randy Orton here tonight? Logically, the answer is no. The answer is not a fucking shot in the dark. No chance in hell this guy's getting rewarded with a WWE title. Maybe Kevin Owens gets a title match because Cody wants to defend the title against Kevin Owens. That would be stupid. He doesn't need to do that. Why would he want to wrestle Kevin Owens and put the WWE Championship on the line while he's at it? That doesn't make sense whatsoever. So if Kevin Owens is not getting a championship match, he is probably going to be suspended. Maybe this was just a very, very convenient way to write Randy Orton and Kevin Owens off of television until we get to Saturday night's main event. I don't know. That's one possibility. So if Cody Rhodes doesn't have a WWE Championship opponent lined up, like I mentioned in the beginning of this show, is he going to be asked to fill in as the fifth man for War Games? Now, why would they do that? Why does Randy Orton and Kevin Owens have to be written off television, leaving Cody Rhodes with nothing to do? Why is he just going to immediately jump into Bloodline business? That doesn't make sense, unless there's a reason for him to get involved in Bloodline business. Are we setting up for The Rock to come back to television before Survivor Series and be the fifth man on Team Solo? That would be more than enough reason for Cody to want to team with Roman and team with Sami on the Bloodline. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting situation to see them play out. Cody versus KO in a non-title match? I mean, it could be. I don't see what that really does for Cody Rhodes. I don't really see what that does for Cody Rhodes. You're going to have a non-title match. I guess it would set up Kevin Owens beating Randy Orton tonight with the pile driver, sending him out, and then beating Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series in a non-title unsanctioned match. I don't know, man. I can't see WWE going and doing that. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I thought this was great stuff. The effects of the pile driver were really, really good, and it actually played a huge part in making it all the more shocking because we have not seen a pile driver on WWE television in such a long time. So I loved everything they did here, man. Really, really good stuff. They did say that Randy Orton was taken to a nearby medical hospital and he had neck contusions. So we will keep an eye on Randy Orton and his status, which obviously is not a real life injury. It is him being written off television so that they can stretch out this KO and Randy Orton situation. And then maybe we get Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes at some point. You know it's coming somewhere. We just don't know when or where. But again, I have to point this out. Cody Rhodes is the primary reason for all of this happening. Cody Rhodes is the reason why Kevin Owens is angry. Cody Rhodes is the reason why Kevin Owens is angry and why Kevin Owens attacked Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes is the primary problem as to why we have all of these dominoes falling in the way that they are. At the end of the day, Kevin Owens is right. I just want to make sure you guys are aware. So when Cody Rhodes wonders why his world is all of a sudden becoming a nightmare, he has nobody to blame but himself. When he looks himself in the mirror, he will know why all of his world is becoming a nightmare. It's because of himself. The entire reason why all of this is happening is because Cody made the decisions that have bled into this, and this is the timeline he's created. Cody is the problem. It's basically what the story is. Cody is the problem. Will that be an aspect of the story that they tell? I don't know. I would consider Randy Orton to be a fucking smart guy. At some point, Randy Orton's going to realize and wake up. You know what? The whole reason why I'm in this situation is because of this fucking guy. And remember the last time they had a locker room face-to-face, the WWE Championship, I think it was right before his tag team match with Gunther and Kaiser. They teamed up, right? On the go-home show for Crown Jewel. What did Randy Orton do in the locker room while Cody Rhodes was taping up his wrists or getting ready for the match? The WWE Championship was hanging off of his locker room door. What did Randy Orton do? He looked right over at that title and stared at a good 3 seconds at the WWE title. You know what's coming. That RKO is coming. When? Where? Nobody knows. It'll be out of nowhere. Pretty deadly. Elton Prince and Kit Wilson against DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. This match went 2 minutes. This wasn't even a tag team match. It was all Johnny Gargano on the apron and Tommaso Ciampa beating the shit out of both Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. Neither team got a televised entrance. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were already in the ring. Pretty deadly. They were already in the ring, too. Their disco ball was playing, so they had already gotten their entrance, but we didn't see it. Ciampa started the match by attacking both Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. Ciampa repeatedly slammed Elton Prince's head on the top of the commentary table. Ciampa then threw Kit Wilson into the timekeeper's area before throwing Elton Prince into the ring steps multiple times. Gargano looked concerned. He did not know what was going on. He eventually was on the apron and asked for a tag. Ciampa ignored him while Ciampa delivered fairy tale ending on Elton Prince for the 1-2-3. So Ciampa beats both Pretty Deadly in 2 minutes without tagging in Johnny Gargano. There you go. DIY needs some momentum. DIY needs a little bit of power and some oomph, a spark, something to light that match. There you go. Tommaso Ciampa just gave it to you. 2 minutes. Backstage, Tiffany Stratton. She walked up to Candice LeRae and said it appears her win over Bayley was a fluke a few weeks ago, and she'll have to work harder to earn Nia Jax's respect. Jax walked in and confronted Tiffany Stratton. She said she's been looking everywhere for her and asked if she arranged with Nick Aldis for this tag team match with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Tiffany said she did because if they win, they can be in line number one contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships. They could run the division. They could rule the division. Nia Jax said, I already rule the division. Jax rolled her eyes and said, listen, your plan better work. Let's go. Tiffany followed as Candice watched and basically told Tiffany that her plan sucks. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. This went 10 minutes. Jade and Bianca, they got their entrance. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax got theirs. Bell rang. Cargill and Stratton started things off. Tiffany got in a forearm, started talking trash to Jade. Jade gives her a fallaway slam. Jax tagged in. They approach each other, have a standoff. Tiffany yanked Belair off the ring apron on the opposite side. This distracted Jade, giving Jax an open to deliver a Samoan drop to Jade Cargill, and they go to commercial break. Belair from the break, as soon as we got back, got a hot tag. She came back against Tiffany, ran some offense on Stratton, and Tiffany yanked Belair's braid to try and stop her, but Belair came back with a spine buster on Stratton. Tiffany raised her knees on Belair with a handspring moonsault. Tiffany then tagged in Nia Jax off that spot. Belair avoided a charging Nia in the corner and tried to lift her up in the KOD, which she had no success in doing. She couldn't get her up. Nia Jax then lifted Belair onto her shoulders and tagged in Tiffany, who hit a top rope blockbuster. Jade breaks up the cover off of that pinfall. Jade and Nia exchanged some kicks and some big forearms. Jax knocked Cargill down, All of a sudden, Candice LeRae ran to ringside and knocked Belair off the top rope as she was going for a moonsault. And this was obviously done because Candice LeRae looks at Tiffany Stratton and thinks Tiffany is a bimbo. Meanwhile, Candice is trying to get into the good graces of Nia Jax. She wants to be where Tiffany Stratton is. I don't know why, but that's the story that's playing out. Tiffany landed a double stomp on Belair and then turned and yelled at Candice to get out of here. She looked at Candice. She was in the corner. She was about to go for the prettiest moonsault ever. Candice started talking shit to Tiffany. Tiffany was distracted by Candice. All of a sudden, Tiffany goes up. Belair gets up. She kicked Tiffany off the top rope. She crouched her on the top rope. And Nia Jax came over and knocked over Naomi, who was out there. Jade comes over and kicks Nia in the face and takes her out. Belair then gives Tiffany the KOD for the 1, 2, 3. I thought this was very well constructed. I thought the match itself was very good. This is the type of shit I like to see. And I've said for weeks now, for months actually, Bianca Belair has settled into this. I don't know what the right word to use is. She settled into this very monotonous, this very lazy role. Unfairly. She's got to carry Jade. She's obviously the biggest star of this tag team. Jade right now needs the help, and Bianca is helping her along. In my honest opinion, it's actually beneath Bianca Belair, who's one of the best athletes in the entire division, to be helping Jade Cargill. But I understand why they paired them up, and I understand why they are doing it. I just don't think that it's benefiting Bianca. I don't even think it's benefiting Jade, but I guess that's a subjective thing if you want to talk about who's benefiting from what, and is Jade really benefiting from Bianca? I don't think they're doing anything for the tag team titles. I don't think the titles are doing anything for them. It's a dead division with dead belts. Bianca deserves more, or better. But I see why they're doing it. She looked fierce tonight. This was the most intense that I think we've seen Bianca Belair in several weeks. And that was a very refreshing thing to see. Now, I don't know where they're going with that. They've been pretty dominant. They really haven't shown any cracks in the armor. I don't know if that was intended to be shown tonight. Probably not. But Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have already teased about them being on the rocks. Splitsville is looming for them. And she tried to plant some seeds of doubt that Jade thinks she's a bigger star and more athletic than Bianca Belair, and that Jade doesn't need Bianca. Liv Morgan's trying to plant those seeds. She did that on Monday. Are we going to see that on Monday when we get that tag team match? I believe the titles will be on the line. Are we going to see that start to really formulate and materialize between Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair? I don't know. So we'll see what happens with that. But Tiffany Stratton has had now 3 failed in attempts, or at least 3 attempts. She didn't really fail to cash in, but 3 attempts at cashing in this Money in the Bank briefcase. Now, I don't know if they are planning for her to take the belt off of Nia. I don't. I would like to see that happen, as I do think Tiffany Stratton is a better flag bearer for the women's division as champion. Nia Jax has not had a very successful run with the women's championship. But I might as well talk about this now because this was the last women's segment of the night. Nick Aldis, later in the show, he revealed that the WWE women's division is now going to have a United States championship. He says it will be earned by whoever is willing to go above and beyond. Ladies, it's time to make history, is what he said. Michael Cole touted it as a brilliant announcement. Graves says it would be a championship that could take a woman's career and legacy to a whole new level. This is for any woman who wants to seize the moment. Now, Again, I don't know where they're going with Tiffany Stratton. I don't. We could have 8 women compete for this title in a tournament. I'm assuming that's going to be the case. 4 from SmackDown, 4 from Raw. I'm assuming that's going to be the case. I could see Bayley. I could see Candice. I could see Mia Yim. And I could see Chelsea Green. And then on Monday Night Raw side, we could see, I don't know. Who's even on Monday Night Raw that could be in the EO, Kyrie? Maybe we see Shayna Baszler. Maybe we see Zoe Stark. I don't really know. I think the SmackDown women's division is a little bit more stronger than the Monday Night Raw women's division, especially with the injuries now to Rhea Ripley, and Becky Lynch is still out. Naomi could be in there as well, but she's getting a women's championship match against Nia Jax. I don't know how logical that would be, or would it be for her to lose that match and then go into the United States Championship tournament? We don't know. All we know is the belt is announced. It was unveiled tonight. We don't know if there's going to be a tournament, a battle royal, a gauntlet. We don't know. We don't know what direction they're going in. The point I'm trying to make is, could WWE, just thinking out loud here, could WWE, instead of all of this suggesting from the fan base, I think the original plan was everybody thinks that Tiffany Stratton's going to win the women's championship, cash in the briefcase on Nia Jax, and become the women's champion. And then all of a sudden, Charlotte Flair comes back. And Charlotte Flair wins the championship from Tiffany Stratton. Is that the best way to go about it? Is that the best way to go about it? Tiffany holding the championship, Charlotte winning the Royal Rumble, and Charlotte beating the young Tiffany Stratton, who should be a priority for the WWE as she is their next big star. I don't see that as being a productive, creative move. I don't. We're not in the business to put Charlotte Flair over. Nobody wants to see Charlotte Flair go over Tiffany Stratton. Nobody wants to see Charlotte Flair come back and win a championship. Nobody wants to see Charlotte Flair with a championship. Or do we get Charlotte coming back, beat Nia? She's the women's champion. Charlotte comes back and walks into WrestleMania as the women's champion. Tiffany Stratton or whoever challenges Charlotte for the women's championship at WrestleMania, and she walks out of WrestleMania as the new women's champion. It's a possibility. Or none of that happens. Charlotte still wins the championship, but Tiffany Stratton waits. Tiffany Stratton waits. Sees this tournament, or whoever's crowned the United States champion, sees this shit play out. Whoever the champion is crowned, and Tiffany Stratton cashes her Money in the Bank briefcase in on the United States Championship and walks away the new United States champion after everybody went through a grueling tournament. Now, I think that would be fucking ridiculous because we wasted our time watching these 8 women or so win this tournament, compete in this tournament, and then it's all wiped away because Tiffany Stratton had a briefcase, and goodbye, poof, it's all gone, up in smoke. I mean, it is a fairly logical thing to think if WWE has this new championship and Tiffany Stratton is still looming around with the Money in the Bank briefcase. You know that they're thinking it. You know that they're thinking it. Have they even made a decision on the Money in the Bank briefcase? Did they say it's only for the World Championships, or is it a championship match of your choosing at any time? Who's to say Tiffany doesn't cash in and want to become the first ever in WWE history, the first ever Women's United States champion? Do you see Nia Jax losing that championship anytime soon? Especially with The Rock coming back? Nia's family. You think they're going to upset Dwayne by taking the belt off Nia and not giving Nia anything to do at WrestleMania? I would be a betting man, I could be wrong, that Nia walks into WrestleMania as the WWE Women's Champion, Charlotte wins the Rumble, or Charlotte wins the Chamber, and Charlotte wins the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania by beating Nia Jax, and they just coin it as Queen versus Queen. That sounds disgusting. Meanwhile, Tiffany Stratton wins the United States Championship by cashing in a briefcase, and we get a United States Championship match and a Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. I can absolutely see that playing out. Absolutely. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know what you guys have heard. But I heard Michael Cole say that it will be both Raw and SmackDown. Now, I thought I heard that, but I also would not be surprised that if WWE unveiled the United States Championship on SmackDown, that they will not unveil on Raw another secondary title, and we will get a women's intercontinental title on Monday Night Raw. I was also thinking that as well. So before we even get to where we got to go, before I even give you my thoughts on that I want to get out there. Could we see another secondary women's championship unveiled on Monday in the form of an intercontinental championship? The possibility is very likely. If we don't, and what I heard is correct. No, we heard it. Caden Crawford in the chat says, no, you heard it. They did not say that. Did they say that or did they not say that? That's why I said I would not be surprised to see an Intercontinental Championship unveiled on Monday. If this title is between both shows, just like the tag team titles are, I don't know why we are not doing the same thing for the men's tag team titles. Is this title, if this is specifically SmackDown, they did say it. They did say it. Okay. So it may be one title for the entire women's division. Maybe. They went with that instead of doing an Intercontinental Championship because it's just a lot easier to sell a United States Championship as a secondary championship for the women than it would be for the Intercontinental Championship. That's fine. The Intercontinental Championship's got a ton of legacy behind it, and especially in WWE, and I don't think they would want to mess with that. But if this title is floating between both shows, they should be fine. They should be fine. If this title is only on SmackDown and they do unveil another title on Raw, I don't see how that's going to work. I don't see how that's going to work. I don't see how it's going to work when you still have the tag team titles floating around. This is why I said earlier, this decision is best if you do addition by subtraction. I know it's not going to happen because WWE's put a lot of focus lately on the women's tag team division, on women's tag teams in general. They put a lot of focus on those titles. I would abolish the women's tag team titles. Get rid of them. They got rid of them in NXT. They had no problem getting rid of them in NXT. This is not about, WWE will never get rid of them because if they do, it will be deemed a failure and they don't want to come off as a failure. They failed ever since you took them off Sasha and Bayley when they initially won them. When the Iconics won those titles, they were dead. Dead, and they never recovered. So no, it's not about them failing. The titles have already been a failure. Everybody in that division is better off without a tag team division, and everybody in that division is better off not being in a tag team. We have asked for story. As a division, with this one title floating around, they have more than enough women to really uphold a United States Championship as a secondary title. If it floats between both shows. If it stays on SmackDown, the use for this title, it becomes irrelevant. They cannot have a secondary title on one show and then say it's going to be a legacy and it's going to be great and it's going to be a success. No, it's not. This division cannot house a secondary title on top of tag team titles, on top of a main women's championship. It cannot. If it's one title floating between both shows, fine. If WWE is going to have this title on SmackDown and then another title unveiled on Monday on Raw, it will never work. It will never work. So if it's right now, I don't want to jump ahead. I'm going to operate and give you guys my opinion just based off what we got tonight. And we'll tackle whatever comes on Monday on Monday. Right now, we got a United States Women's Championship. Right now, I heard Michael Cole said it's going to be every woman in the company, SmackDown and Raw, vying for this title. Good. Fine. It'll work that way. But if we have another title in the women's division, I have to ask. United States title is going to float back and forth. The tag team titles are going to float back and forth. Why are the men's tag team? Why did we decide to split the tag team titles in the men's division after you made the decision, the right decision, to unify both titles? I wish that they would go back on what they did at WrestleMania. I wish that they would merge the divisions. I wish we would have one set of men's titles that float between SmackDown and Raw. And the only titles that are specific to their brands are the United States title for the men's, the Intercontinental title for the men's, and both men's and women's world championships. If WWE, which I heard today, I don't know if it's a legit rumor or not, or if it's a rumor that's come to fruition, if Monday Night Raw is going 3 hours and SmackDown is going 3 hours, if you want to alleviate that, because we're going to need some more substance on these shows if you're going to move SmackDown to 3 hours, if you are going to move both shows to 3 hours starting in January, a men's tag team division to float, a women's United States title to float, and a women's tag team division to float, if you have all three of those divisions floating, that would be more than enough to offset the roster that you need on Monday and Friday if Raw and SmackDown are going to go 3 hours. You don't need to rely on calling 3 or 4 different talents up from NXT. And you don't need to rely on a draft or a small mini draft between Raw and SmackDown, just to kind of offset moving Raw to 3 hours and SmackDown to 3 hours. If you have all three of those divisions floating, the amount of talent you're going to have on both shows is more than enough to give you guys exactly what you need to fill 3 hours of TV time. I don't know why a decision like that has not been made. I don't. I know they don't want to end the brand split. I know they will never end the brand split. There's just too much talent. But you got to do something to work within the boundaries to fix the problems that you got right now so that the brand split is not a problem when you move these shows to 3 hours each. I think the United States Championship, if it is a title that's going to float between both shows, is more than fine. We will watch on Monday. If they announce a women's Intercontinental title, then I think that's a little overkill. Because at that point, you're going to have 2 titles in the mid-card of the women's division on both shows in a division that is simply not deep enough to house 3 championships. It is not enough. You're going to run through matches and run through women's matches on those shows in record fashion, and nothing is going to be the way that it needs. If you have one championship that floats between both shows, the possibilities are so much more vast for you to give us matches that we've never seen before, tell stories and let them play out, and get different women involved at a very natural pace instead of throwing everything at this one title that will be on both shows. Oh my goodness, we got the women's championship, so someone's going to be feuding for that, and then someone's going to be feuding for the secondary title. By that time, you're going to run through everything so quick, it's going to be old before you could even breathe. One title is more than enough. I hope that I'm wrong. I don't want to see another Intercontinental title for the women's because the Intercontinental title is on Raw and the United States title is on SmackDown, and they want to introduce 2 mid-card titles. No, only one. Motor City Machine Guns. They ran into Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano after they had a tag team match with A-Town Down Under, which went 10 minutes. The tag team match with A-Town Down Under, man, it felt very flat. And I don't really know if I could honestly blame the Motor City Machine Guns. I genuinely think that Grayson Waller and Austin Theory together are really good, but they just come off as if nobody gives a shit about them. So if the Motor City Machine Guns didn't really get a reaction, if you were watching this and felt like the Motor City Machine Guns didn't get a reaction, I'm not going to blame the Motor City Machine Guns. WWE has done a very good job of making them feel important. They got a great entrance. Their theme song is not terribly bad. And they beat the Bloodline for the tag team titles. And they were put over by Jey Uso. So they have to feel somewhat important. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blame Shelley and Sabin, who have been in the business for 20 years. Oh, man, they can't get over in WWE. They're failures. No, I'm not going to sit here and blame the Motor City Machine Guns. Give me a fucking break. It's all about using them and putting them in the ring with top-tier talent. Next week would be a lot better because they're going up against the Street Profits. Nobody gives a shit about Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. They're a dead act. They're old. Nobody cares about them. Nobody takes them seriously. So Motor City Machine Guns win. I'm not going to go through the match. They win with their Skull and Bones finish, which is a neck breaker, big splash combo by Shelley and Sabin. So after the match was over, they ran into Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Profits walked in and said next week, the Profits will get Motor City Machine Guns for the tag team titles. Shelley and Sabin said they want the match with the Profits and Dawkins, and apparently the Street Profits came off very angry here, very dark. Let's see how you handle real pressure, says Angelo Dawkins. Tommaso Ciampa, he yelled at Shelley and Sabin, we're coming back for those tag team titles. They are our titles. Street Profits came in, interrupted, saying, no. Get out of here. We got the title match next week. Ciampa was upset. He threw his water bottle down. He was visibly upset. And I don't know if he's going to take it out on Johnny Gargano. So Ciampa is still selling his heel turn, his anger, because he's not in contention back for those tag team titles. So that should be a very, very good match next week. And I do think that the Motor City Machine Guns will look a lot better off for it. Bloodline. The end of the show, where we are going to get an undisputed acknowledgement of Solo Sikoa as the tribal chief in WWE. So, Solo Sikoa came out, and he's obviously led by the Bloodline. He gets into the ring. He asks the crowd to acknowledge him. Roman interrupted. He came out. He made his entrance. They are now staring at each other face to face. Solo said he needed to acknowledge him. So Reigns said, Buffalo, do you acknowledge him? Fans said no. Overwhelmingly no, with boos. Reigns says, yeah, I don't either. Reigns challenged him to a match, and he said the winner would be the only tribal chief. Solo started laughing and said he's already the only tribal chief. Reigns did not like that. Solo says he can't become a tribal chief if he has no tribe. No Jey, no Jimmy, no Sammy. Solo challenged him to go find 4 people in the back who would team with him, and we can go to war. Solo says he knows Roman likes to go to war, and they are always ready for war. So this seemed like a blatant line that was supposed to be said tonight. Solo legitimately said, I want you to go find 4 people in the back and we can go to war. So did they just tease that War Games is going to be 5-on-5 and Roman's going to need 4? But there's only 8. There's only 8 men that we've seen led up until this point for War Games. Bloodline versus Bloodline, Civil War at Survivor Series. It was very odd that that line was in there. I urge you to go find 4 people in the back, and then we can go to war. I don't know. Roman Reigns said, hold on. Are you talking about War Games? But I only see 4 of you. Solo counted 4. He counted Jacob, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and himself. And the 5th guy would be Sami Zayn. So 5. Now, we knew Sami was not going to be part of Solo's bloodline. Sami walked out to the stage. He looked angry. He walks out. New bloodline attacked Roman from behind. Solo said Sami kicked him on purpose at Crown Jewel, which we know he didn't. Jey and Jimmy ran to the ring to aid Roman. They fought to ringside. Fatu super kicked Jimmy and Jey. Solo set up a Samoan spike on Roman. Solo called Sami to the ring. Sami got into the ring. Cole said Solo wants Sami to prove himself to Solo and kick Roman in the face. This time not by accident. Sami wound up the haluva kick and obviously kicked Solo in the face instead. This was no accident. Fans popped big for this. Sami looked down at Reigns. Jacob Fatu charged in. Sami knocked him out to the floor. Reigns gave Solo a spear. Cole said this isn't how Solo wanted the Tribal's chief ceremony to go. Fans chanted OTC, OTC. Sami and Reigns eyed each other. Jey puts his one in the air. Jimmy follows, puts his one in the air. Sami then puts his one in the air. And Roman then puts his one in the air. And we have an alliance. Cole called it a loose alliance of the original Bloodline members to go to battle at War Games, a scene we thought we would never see again. How did you guys feel about this? After what we got on this show tonight, before I even give you my thought, the moment was great. No matter how differently it could have been done, no matter how you feel it was rushed, no matter what you think, the moment itself was great. The visual of Sami putting his one in the air with Roman following suit, it was a great moment. The opening to the show was a great moment with Roman just being Roman, not being humble, not realizing that he needs to change to get back what he wants. He's the same old Roman. With the segment that we got in the beginning, where he basically told Sami he's not blood, he's not family, he's not an Uso, he's not honorary. And he sent Sami away. Only for Jey Uso to then get in Roman's face and say, I love Sami. All I needed you to do was talk to him. Roman wanted to walk away. Jey said, don't disrespect me like that. I told you once already, and this is your only pass. We are equals. If you disrespect me again, I'm out. Roman told Jey, if you love Sami so much, you go find him. Jimmy then got upset at Roman for what he did to Jey, and then he told Jimmy, are you against me now too? If you love your brother, go find Jey. He was left with no bloodline. He was left with no bloodline. And then we fast forward to the end of the show, and we're in the middle of another stereotypical beatdown of the bloodline by Solo on Roman. Sami comes out there. They tease Sami joining Solo, which we knew was never going to be an option to begin with. He kicks Solo in the face. He saves Roman. The rest of them come out there, flanking the bloodline, keeping Solo's bloodline away, and then they all throw their ones in the air, and then everybody's on the same fucking page? There's no possible way the people who put this shit together thought that that was the best way to go about it. And there's no way that the people that put this shit together thought that tonight was the right moment for that to happen. They should have at least waited another 7 days. At least. I understand they needed to get the announcement made. I understand that they're late in the game. We're on the road to Survivor Series. I don't know why this wasn't done and why this storyline wasn't given an extra 4 weeks to marinate so that when we got to a part in the story like this, it wouldn't feel so rushed. Why does everything feel rushed? I don't think that this is mapped out the way that they are planning it. I don't. I honestly think that they're operating on time constraints. I think that they're operating in a very rush fashion. I do. I don't know why, but I think that's the way that's coming off, and I think that's the way that they're operating. But I don't know why, after what we got tonight, this ending tonight was the ending that they chose. Sami throws his one in the air now. We are to believe that Roman and Sami and Jey and Jimmy are all on the same page, and that Roman has no problem with Sami. Sami proved his worth. Sami is loyal to Roman. Sami's going to help Roman, and that's all Roman needs. You mean to tell me that Sami, after what he was told by this family, you're not family. He was told that by Jey. Roman tells him he's not family, he's not blood, he's not honorary, he's not an Uso. Sami is just willingly going to drop all those emotions and just say, all right, one. Come on, man. WWE has done such a great job of telling stories. And one of the things that people get on Triple H about is that he takes way too long. He stretches this shit out, man, until the rubber band is about to break. He can't win. Some things he stretches out so long, it just feels, all right, man, end it. Not every storyline needs to have a fucking 12-month build. Then he does things in a manner which he'll pay it off in 3-4 months. Otis and Gable was a good example. Where the fuck did that go? That had so much meat left on the bone, and I feel like he dropped the ball on that one. But this, no matter how great of a moment it was to see Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns throw up the ones together, you mean to tell me that you all thought that tonight's moment, this moment, fit best tonight? Instead of telling us the story of internal fucking struggle between all four guys to get on the same page, OG Bloodline's in trouble while Solo's laughing. He wants to go to war with Solo, but he doesn't got no tribe. Paul Heyman walks into the story, and the wise man brings everybody back together on the island of relevancy. That was the story. Now, we may still end up getting that. There will probably be tension, I'm sure, with all four of these egos. Don't know really if Sami has an ego, but Sami's a very emotional dude. He feels. Maybe we get Paul Heyman wrangling up all of the OG Bloodline to get back on the same page after some miscommunication or some problems that arise in the next 14 days. But it's the moment. The moment that they needed to sell us on is the moment they gave us tonight. And the moment that they gave us tonight didn't even involve Paul Heyman. So whatever moment you do now is not going to be as good of a moment that they did tonight. That was it. That was your money shot. That was your go home to Survivor Series. Was it good? Sure. How could it be bad? But if you mean to tell me that's the best that you thought that this story deserved, I call bullshit on that, man. I call bullshit. Thank you guys very much for all your support. If you guys enjoyed today's SmackDown post, I would really appreciate you guys hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 800 likes, man. We are About 150 away from 800. If you guys are in the chat, have not hit the thumbs up, I would really appreciate you do so, man. It helps me out tremendously. Shout out to my Twitch family. We are live on Twitch as well. We just hit 11,000 followers on Twitch. Appreciate you guys very much. Tay15 followed the stream tonight. SB or S4B followed. Thank you. Appreciate you guys very much. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the other content on the channel. There is plenty of it. I'm sure we'll have some content going up this weekend. I may have some content going up tomorrow, man. I'll be in Manhattan tomorrow. I'm attending a Starbucks martini class tomorrow in the city. Yes, coffee and martinis. Yes. For the holiday season, man. Nice peppermint chocolate. Gotta love it. When I'm not a whiskey guy, I am certainly very much a coffee guy. So I'll be doing that. So I'll probably get some content up for you guys tomorrow before I head to the city tomorrow afternoon. Tonight's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. Make sure you guys use that promo code JD at checkout. All you have to do is get the $5 shipping and handling taken care of, and you're going to be on your way to getting a month free of the service. Let me tell you something, man. Don't blow your loads like WWE has done with this Bloodline story. You don't want to go into it rushing. You don't. You got to have long-term booking. That's where Blue Chew comes into play, man. Blue Chew is your pen and paper to long-term booking. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but it comes in a chewable tablet, and it comes at a fraction of the cost. The process is very simple. You're going to sign up at BlueChew.com. You're going to consult with one of their online medical providers, and once you are approved, you will receive your prescription within days. The tablets are made in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to you, right to your front door, and the best part is it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Nobody likes doing any of that shit. You don't have to do any of it. It's all done online. Take them anytime, day or night. Plan ahead. Be ready whenever that opportunity arises. When you need to write the climax of your story, you will definitely be finishing your story in the long-term booking way that it needs to be done. First impressions are everything. Well, Blue Chew is a great first impression and a great lasting impression. So sign up at BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. All you guys got to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. And I want to thank them, as always, for sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Script. Let's start with Super Chats are open, by the way. If you guys want to get them on in, please do so. It's a great way to support the show. Michelle with a $2 Super Chat times 3. Cody, Randy, KO. Their story is going to feed families. Damn good. It's my favorite thing about the show right now. It's probably my favorite thing in all of WWE right now. Also, match to be one and only Tribal Chief equals Rock Roman. Well, yeah, Roman's got to win back the Tribal Chief. Roman's got to win back the Tribal Chief first. Also, she says, imagine a 5-on-5 Roman OG with Cody versus Team Solo with KO. I don't know. Possibly. The King Ellie Show with a $5 super chat. Cole said both shows can fight over the United States title. Who would you have win it? I think Bird Girl should win it. I got 3 choices right now off the top of my head. Number 1, Lyra. Number 2, Chelsea Green. And number 3, Mia Yim. You got to get it on somebody that's going to do right by the title first out of the gate. I don't know if Chelsea Green is the right person for that, but a title like that is going to be great for Chelsea at some point. I think the title needs to go onto a very credible woman who's going to do right by the title. Armando with a 20 months in the venue. Can't wait for Black and Gold Ciampa. Do you see Ciampa and Johnny feuding, and maybe that's the next feud to end inside Hell in a Cell? OTS for life. Keep it up. I don't know. I don't want to jump ahead to putting them inside a Hell in a Cell, but I could certainly see them being each other's WrestleMania opponent. Also, Quee, thank you so very much, brother. $100 super chat from my guy, VIP for life. $100 super chat. Robert Hurt with 44 months. The old Bloodline versus the new Bloodline War Games is going to be awesome. Keep doing what you do, JD. Thank you, Robert. Lauren with a 2. Team Orton versus Team Owens at War Games. No. No, we already have the Bloodline inside War Games. Joseph Taylor with a $5 super chat. This Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up in March at the Rogers Center should get around 40 to 50,000 people. Yeah. I would not be surprised if they do Gunther versus Bill Goldberg at the Elimination Chamber. Sounds like quite a send-off for good old Bill if he wants to retire there. Coffee DNA with a $2 super chat. Do you think Ciampa and Gargano peaked in Black and Gold? I do. Unfortunately, I do. But if they had good creative, we wouldn't be talking about that right now. Their creative has not been good. No matter how much Triple H loves them, it has not been good. Dan the Cards fan, 47 with a $9.99. He says Seth freaking Rollins. It could be. It could be. Rollins on Bloodline's team, Roman's team, and then Rock on Solo's team. I like it. Clone Force with the 6 months. Thank you, Clone Force. WWE signed Lance on Hawaii. End of War Game. Rock shows up, turns on Roman. New Bloodline beats down OG Bloodline, and show goes off the air with OG beaten down. It could be. It could be. Jason Barker with the 27 months. He said, what's up, everybody? What's up, Jason? Ali with a $10 super chat. JD, I was going to tell you that 2 years ago in October, I almost had a heart attack, but I'm doing very well with my health. You always keep me strong when I watch your videos. I thank you very much. Ali, stay strong, brother. Adam Khan with a new membership. Adam, welcome. The fuck are you drinking tonight, Adam? Gold Standard with a $5 super chat. NXT beat Dynamite in the ratings again on Dynamite's normal night. AEW has bad creative and only a couple of people in the attendance and in the audience. AEW is in a bad place right now. They will never admit it, though. Not today, Jay, with 26 months. Happy 26 months, JD. Thank you for all you do. OTS for life. Keep being you. Thank you, brother. King Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Hopefully soon, WWE brings mid-card titles for the women's and NXT men's divisions. Looks suspect. Not sure what you mean, bro. Hopefully soon WWE brings mid-card titles for the women's and NXT men's divisions. Looks suspect. The NXT women's division has the North American Championship. They have a women's North American title. The WWE main roster just added a United States Championship. And the men's division doesn't need any more titles. They just need stars. You can't operate with Trick Williams as the world champion and his opponents are Ethan Page and Rich Holland. It's not going to work out. Sinister with 17 months. Much love, brother. Hope all is well with you mentally and physically. How's the workouts been? OTS for life. Mentally, it's been tough the last couple of months, Sinister. I got to be honest with you guys. It's been tough mentally. I don't really sleep well at all anymore. I don't know how I operate day to day. The workouts are on pause right now. I had a little bit of a setback for the last couple of weeks. Mentally just not into it. Been struggling, like I said, but next week I will be back in the gym. Keith Tunstall with 13 months. Kevin Owens might actually have a heart attack when he sees Sami with the bloodline. Love everything you do. I don't think Sami and KO are going to have a problem right now. We will see what happens. That's always a possibility down the line. King Mo Jackson with a 199. Your top 5 female wrestlers currently in wrestling. This is just North American based only because I don't watch Stardom. I will probably go Athena. This is in no particular order, by the way. Athena. I will say Athena, Rhea, Roxanne, Io, and Willow. There you go. Filthy Slimes with a $4.99. I'm actually more intrigued to see if we get KO's reaction, as YouTube just crapped out on me. Filthy Slime says, I'm more intrigued to see if we get KO's reaction to Sami being involved with the bloodline again. I don't know if that's going to happen. Right now, it's not going to happen. HC Kevin 20 with a $5 super chat. JD, question of the day. If you can remember, what was your favorite ever gaming console and what games did you play? Hashtag OTS forever. Super Nintendo, Mega Man X, Legend of Zelda, Super Metroid, Chrono Trigger. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. Gamma Thor with 26 months. Might have been early, but with H in charge, let's see how it plays out. We'll see. We will certainly see. Lauren Marie Harden with a $2 super chat. Cena winning the Rumble. It's a possibility, but I am not going John Cena. I think that would be way too predictable. I'm Danger Wrestling. In fact, I think Cena gets Logan Paul at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. I think John Cena versus Logan Paul is going to be your WrestleMania match next year. I'm Danger Wrestling with a $5 super chat. Love you, JD. You need to do more of the deep voice IWC impressions. With this McDonald's burger is delicious. I laughed so hard.
What are you talking about, JD? He hates AEW. He's such a triple nose, Triple H cocksucker. This Burger King is so delicious.
Thank you on Danger Wrestling Videos by HBP with the $2 super chat. That United States title would suit Naomi well. Sure. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Orton bringing back the punt kick. I think so. I mean, there's no better way to counter a pile driver, right? Michael Loden with a 4 months. Did you see Jack Cartwheel got signed to the WWE ID program? I did. Congratulations to Jack Cartwheel. He's now out of the depths of AEW Rampage hell, man. Good for him. Learning Tree Jericho with a $20 super chat. Early prediction, but I think we'll see OG Bloodline versus the Wyatt 6 at next year's War Games. Bo will target Roman eventually for how he treated his family and as revenge for The Fiend being Tribal Chief Roman's first victim. And that is quite the prediction right there, man. A prediction that I think sounds really fucking good. That's some long-term booking right there, bro. Hollywood guy with a $2 super chat. Are you still going to do a Pokemon card reveal? No. No, but I have 6 booster boxes of Stellar Crowns sitting over here in the corner that I am starting to put together in a binder. But man, oh man, I'd love to collect this Surging Sparks set coming out that came out today. But man, then they just announced Prismatic Evolutions, and they got every evolution of Eevee and this new fucking Moonbreon chase card. I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait and buy a whole shit ton of Prismatic Evolutions if I can get my hands on it. Right now, it's all sold out everywhere. It doesn't come out till January 17th. Hollywood guy with a $2 super chat. Are you still going to... I just read that. Thank you, Hollywood guy. Adam Hernandez. We'll end with this one. Adam Hernandez. $20 super chat. Been following you since 2017, since coming out of prison, but your pandemic stuff sticks out to me while working with Amazon. P.S. Need you with Mr. Soldier on some COD collaboration. I love my guy, Mr. Soldier. Adam, thank you, brother. Yeah, during the pandemic, I was holed up in my little rinky-dink apartment in Atlantic City. Then I moved to a nicer place in Atlantic City that gave me a lot more space. It was quite the time, man. I had neighbors above me that fucking hated me. They wanted me out so bad. Could not get anything done in the late hours of the night. Now I can. I got no problem with that now. But, yeah, it was quite the time, man. That was the first time I actually experimented with going live, too. And now I can't really look back. It's got to be live or no way at all. And yes, I love Mr. Soldier. I tend to watch him when he's playing Warzone. I think he's a very good Warzone player. I hate Warzone. I'm more of a multiplayer guy. But I'd love to collaborate with him. I'd love to do something with him. And Metalhead Forever with 34 months. OTS Forever, been following you since 2015. Thank you for the 34 months, brother. You are getting dangerously close to that 48-month benchmark. And a Watson with 29 months. Gotta love the build-up for War Games with the Bloodline feud. Let's fucking go. OTS for life. Thank you guys very much, man. I'm about to get out of here and hop on some Call of Duty myself now, actually. I'm going to enter Prestige 3. Believe it or not. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for all of your support. I really appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight. We had some great discussion here on the podcast. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go and check out all the other content on the channel. If you guys missed the Dynamite post show last night, it's on the channel right now. Go and check it out. Really great stuff. Everything will be back to normal next week. Tuesday Night Titans, Dynamite with Jesse. We'll be back to a regular schedule next week. I hate Black Ops 6, Hula Rim. I fucking hate it. Gives me something to do before I go to sleep, though. And make sure you guys check out Blue Chew, man. BlueChew.com, code JD. Go get yourself a free sample. Trust me, it works. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the sub boxes tomorrow with more right here on Off the Scripts. I'll see you guys later.